Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Three with the SME conversation focused on the diverse benefits of implementing a TMS with a certified reseller. Today, we're talking with a transportation industry subject matter expert who's an expert in applying technology-based solutions to improve transportation management. It's a fairly casual conversation designed to help you quickly understand how resellers can drive significant benefits for organizations seeking a better transportation management solution. My name is Michael Willard, and before we get started today, a couple of quick housekeeping notes. This session is recorded, and we're making it available to you on demand. You can stop, start, rewind at your convenience. Check out any of the content that you might need to see again. Also, take a moment to take a look at the related content section there on the On24 presentation panel. You can download these deliverables and take a deeper dive into this topic. Among those, be sure to listen to the podcast that we've included there. It features a TMS success story with Rexing Companies and PFL Logistics. That short conversation is a great illustration of how a reseller drives measurable benefits for their users. And today's Through with the SME session was based on questions that you submitted. But if you've got additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out to our team. You can see the link of presenters there on your On24 platform. Just click an email link, their name, credentials, fire those questions off, and we'll be back as soon as possible. With that out of the way, let's introduce our subject matter expert for today. Our guest is Shelli Alston. She's got nearly 3 decades of experience in the transportation space. Since 2016, she's been the co-founder and president of Intek Freight and Logistics. That's an organization focused on combining the expertise of folks like Shelli with leading-edge technology and partnerships to provide long-term freight management and logistics solutions, all that enhance customer experience and control cost. Shelli, welcome to our conversation today.
Thank you, Michael. Glad to be here.
Again, I'm Michael Willard, a marketing strategist for MercuryGate and the host of our Through with the SME conversation series. So let's start with the most basic question, Shelli. What does a MercuryGate certified software reseller support? What are the type of businesses that get the most value from a partner like Intek?
Yeah, so I would say probably the ones that get the most value from a reseller like Intek would be that small to medium size shipper or even LSPs, brokers, those that are, don't have the huge staff that other big, huge Fortune 500 companies have. We really kind of focus on the ones that need that extra assistance with us and as far as implementations, integrations, and those types of things. So we kind of focus, as I mentioned earlier, on that small to medium size and in all types of businesses. We really enjoy the shipper space. We also enjoy the LSP broker space alike. And those are the ones that we find to kind of be those opportunities that we really focus on and have a lot of success with.
Okay, now I noticed you mentioned the LSPs among the businesses that benefit from a partnership with you guys. That being said, some of those businesses I know, especially the brokerage space, I might also view Intek as a bit of a competitor. That means they might hesitate to partner with you guys. How do you counter those types of concerns?
Yeah, well, I'm really glad you brought the elephant in the room, Michael, because, we actually run into this and not as much as we have in the past. And I think it's because we're able to, really kind of bring about to the customers why we're a benefit and not a concern. And I think that's the most important part. And to kind of focus and bring the picture to that is, we offer a lot of things and a lot of value to the LSPs and broker space. And we also, we're very protective. Everybody in this business is protective. We're protective of our business and they're protective of their business. So we do make sure that we do the formal things like enter into an NDA and really reassure them that their data and their business is protected and there's no issue with competition seeing that. The other thing too is it's very important to know that we have 2 business models, 2 very separate business models. And so the reseller side of the business, those people aren't even housed in the same side as what our brokerage piece of our business is housed in. So totally different states, totally different groups. They never really cross over. But what the benefit is that we've been in this business for so long. As you mentioned, I was trying to check for my gray hairs because you mentioned decades in this business. And yes, I have been that long. But it's great that we have this experience and we know the business model of that LSP space. So what we can do for our customers is we can offer them kind of a guidance on how to set up the system. I always say that the MercuryGate system is the best system. It's the best enterprise TMS system, but there's like 25 different ways to do one thing. And so what we can do for the LSP and broker space is we can help guide them in, hey, tell us what your business is, and we'll help you design it to where you're not having your teams do 25 different steps to get to the same focus point. We're going to help you get that set up in the sequence to where you're efficient and effective.
Yeah, I'm sure that's reassuring for a lot of those potential partners out there. And now if I'm one of those partners, like a mid-sized shipper or broker, what's the first step in beginning a relationship with the TMS reseller? Now, I'm going to bring up a slide here to help us kind of illustrate some of the points I think you're going to address.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the first step is we like to engage in what we call a discovery call, and it's a quick call. It's not a call where we're going to get into the system and see everything and do all those types of things. We're going to want to learn more about the business because not any one customer is the same. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different business model, and we need to learn more about what that business model is if we're going to put together a good demo to see so they can see how their business works in the TMS. So we'll start out with that discovery call. We'll learn a little bit more about the customer. The customer can learn a little bit more about us. And then once we get all that information, then we gather it up so that way we can move them into the next step, which is what we call an interactive demo. And what I love about an interactive demo is we get our team members on with the customers, and sometimes those customers, they'll bring, different business groups in their organization, maybe like the finance group, the operations group, all different types of groups into that demo. And we call it an interactive demo because it's very, very important for the customer to ask questions while we're going through the different pieces of the system, because then it's fresh on their mind and they know what they want to see. We could have demos that are 3 hours long, but that's not going to be effective for anybody. So we want to make sure that they get to ask the questions and see the pieces that they want to see in that demo so they know how that's going to work in their daily environment. As we get through that demo, Michael, then the next step after that is for them to work back internally and figure out if we're the right solution for them to move forward with the TMS. Once they make that decision, then, we do the formal process of all the paperwork and we take it from there. That's kind of the initial onset before we get into the nitty gritty of what we're going to do next with the customer.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that next step. You've gotten an understanding of their needs. You know how you might support their business. And then how does a reseller like Intek introduce that transportation management platform like we provide here at MercuryGate?
Yeah, so this is what I call the fun part, and it's probably because we've got some really strong folks on our team that run this the group that helps the customer. And when I say really strong, is we get together with the customer and we already got through all that kind of sales process and how does it work and how does it fit and is this the best for you? Now the fun part begins to where we can really do deep dive on the requirements gathering. With these systems, there's a lot of opportunities for third-party integrations. You need to figure out, okay, what is your end goal and what are the integrations that we need to put together? So as we do that, we bring in the different teams and we do a full requirements gathering, and then we do like this project management thing. I'm all about the Gantt charts and all that different stuff. I did take a class back in school on project management. So, I feel like I know something, but not a lot. So our team members, they put this together. They do this whole management and SOW for the customer. And the two important things about this, it's time and cost. That's really important for the customer to understand, okay, how long is it going to take me to get implemented? And what is the cost going to be for me to get implemented? And once we work as teams and get all the stakeholders from each organization involved in this, then we put together that whole project. And then we start into it. a little bit of time for when we drop the environment, because this system is so strong and so good. It's not an out of the box system. So we gotta have the kind of the core piece dropped, and then our team works on getting everything set up before we get the customer into the system. And then once we get them in the system, we actually go through that whole process. A big part of implementation is the training. I say that that's probably 80% of what we do on implementation. The rest is putting the pipes and the pieces together and making sure everything is connected. But a huge part is the training, because this is all new for the customer. And so I always call it like school. Our folks can be a little rigorous in making sure that everybody is following what they need to do. They do get some homework and different things that they need to do in the system to test it out. And that's all because we want them to have a successful go live. So once we get all of that done, then we sit down again with the stakeholders and we plan a go live time, and then it's go live.
Go live.
It's go live. And I would suspect everybody's kind of been through that process. They're not, they're not all roses, but we are there to support the customer and work with them. And I would say, the most successful go lives that I've seen are the folks that really put the time and energy into that previous process where we did the training and did their homework and those types of things. And we're there after go live. We're there for ongoing support. We're there to help everybody. But you'll see that once you get those first few months, there's a lot of work there, but then it just dwindles off because everybody starts to become a lot more of a super user and get a bit more expertise on the system. And so our ongoing support, as it should, starts to dwindle.
That's a lot of great information. And I think you're already kind of dipping into our next topic, some of those perks of partnership. You certainly listed a lot of those, but most immediately, what's a primary benefit for a shipper or broker who begins with working with the TMS reseller? Now, I know that you mentioned the implementation, so that's great, but then what's next?
Yeah, I would say some of the perks with working with a reseller, and let's kind of reverse it back to what we started with, is a lot of companies don't have full, huge IT departments. And so one of the things that we can offer is, there's a lot of that integration. And when I say integration, just so everybody knows, I mean, you've got this really robust TMS system that we're working with, but everybody wants kind of that Amazon effect. I want to see everything at immediate notice. And what we tell people is, like, the system can help you do that, but it's all about the information that you put into the system. And that's kind of where those integrations come into play, right? There's a lot of different things that you can do to enhance the visibility and it's in the information that you get in and how quick you are to the customer or what the answers are that they need. So once you get through that, we can offer extension to our customer's company and help them with that the IT portion of that if they don't have those internal resources. And I think that's one of the really big benefits of a reseller, is for us to be able to kind of lift that customer up and help give them that opportunity to be able to do all those integrations and work through those. So I think that's really a big benefit that we talk about when working with a reseller. I think the other thing that we talked about is we're kind of consultants. So, we really love that ability to help the customer and help solve things for the customer. And so we're out there working with them and the different things and the different challenges that they have. And we can give them some consulting for what we've learned in the past of different ways that they can set things up or best in class practices.
Okay, so when you kind of keep that all in mind as you look forward to, with any technology space, any technology product, there's always going to be support needed, software support. So how does a reseller like Intek, position users maybe to get software support they might not be able to access in other environments?
Yeah, I think the important part is everybody is dealt with like the 1-800 numbers, right? And if you're dealing with something totally different, or you're calling to check on something on your insurance or something else, and or medical or whatever, you're dealing with these 1-800 numbers, and you're like, talk with a representative. You just go through this madness of wanting some support, but it feels like it's an impossible task. So that's one of the things that we tried to change here at Intek and being a reseller is that, we can create that environment to where our customers, they're a big fish in a little pond instead of a little fish in a big pond. And so we have more of that white glove treatment for our support to where nobody should be waiting for a response. And we're going to respond quickly. Now, we may not have the answer or have the solution immediately, but we're going to respond quickly and we're going to work on it and really keep the customers updated until we can get that challenge or that issue fixed. And it's not always challenges or issues, Michael, for the support. I mean, there's good things too for support. For instance, the company grows and they say, hey, I want to do this in the system. Can we do this? And so what we can do is quickly put together, SOW's statement of work to say, okay, yeah, we can do that for you. And we'll write that up and we'll put it together. And that's some ongoing support that's really positive, right? Because we're enhancing them in their growth of their business. And that's what the technology is all about, is enhancing the customer and their growth.
Let's talk about the next level. We've talked about what you guys can help as a TMS reseller, but beyond that role, within the MercuryGate Smart Transportation Platform, how does Intek help users maximize the value they get from within the TMS in other ways?
Yeah, there's all kinds of different things. We can continue to help our existing customers with different things as I mentioned earlier, as they grow. Let's just say we've got an existing customer and they know that there's this great optimizer within the TMS system, but they don't have the expertise to do it. We've got that expertise in-house, and so we can help get them going on it. We can even run optimizations for them, and then help train them until they can do it internally. So there's a lot of different things we can do for existing customers, but even outside of his existing customers, we can help others with this capability that we talked about. Because Intek has multiple divisions of the company, we can do full freight management solutions. And this is where, we get really excited because we can put together all the different strengths and bring a solution to the customer, but it might be a la carte too. So as I talk through that, let's just say, we've got this great robust system, TMS system, and we've also got other divisions that are really strong in helping to execute and manage freight. So if we put the whole package together, we could take somebody who, let's just say it's a transportation manager and they're coming to us and they're like, hey, all I do is run everything off of spreadsheets and I can't see anything as far as tracking and tracing. And I'm constantly dealing with these spreadsheets and I've got all these loads. Well, we can immediately give them a system. So they have this quick visibility and the ability to report and see what's happening in their business, so we can give them the system. And then if they need somebody to help them execute, we can help them execute. We can do bid processes for them. We can help even move the freight for them, and then we can help build these reports for them. So then you can take somebody that's in a smaller company that used to run everything on spreadsheets, and they become the hero in their organization to their management because they now are bringing this full system solution without a huge outlay until they can, go get the TMS themselves. So that's kind of what we see on the freight management side, is we can take everything and execute and help our customers be the hero for their internal company. But you can do different parts of that, Michael. I mean, you don't have to do the full suite of offering. I mean, we could, hey, let's scope this out, and you want the system, but you want to manage your carriers, you want to execute, you want to do everything else internally, we can do that. Or, hey, we want to do a little bit of hybrid of both. We want to take some of your expertise and we want to take some of our expertise, put them together, drop them in the system and really get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and I know that a la carte piece, compared to the full package, is really an opportunity to extend the staff of our users, whether they're a super user or somebody who's not using a super user, so they're able to get some of the resources and take advantage of them there.
Absolutely. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so thanks so much for sharing and introducing this topic to our audience, Shelli, and sharing some of your time with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Great. So, quick reminder to our audience, you can connect with Shelli using the email link under her name and credentials in the On24 viewer. Just send any questions her way directly there through her email address. And you can click on the related content for more details about how MercuryGate works with resellers. Please don't miss the podcast featuring Shelli and Intek's conversation with Rex & Company's Director of Operations. That's Rachel Johnson. She gives some great insight into the value of Intek and how they're bringing that value into PFL logistics. Really kind of a great how-to story. You can see the value very quickly. And as you see on our screen, there's some other deliverables that we provide for you, regular transportation industry updates. They're all in our Knowledge Center, and that's where you can find the MercuryGate blog, updated weekly with topics focused on helping you achieve smart transportation across your supply chain. Just find our Knowledge Center at MercuryGate.com. You'll see the link in the resources as well. You can access all our materials, including those deliverables you see on the screen. One other note, don't forget to follow us on MercuryGate International on LinkedIn. You can get there when you click that LinkedIn logo there in the webinar viewer at the bottom of our related content. This, of course, is a great way to stay informed about our new content and events, including future episodes of 3 with the SME. We've got a couple more coming up next month. Until that time, on behalf of Shelli Alston from Intek Freight and Logistics, and for everyone at MercuryGate International, thank you for joining us for today's conversation.